first dragon fruit of the season. I'm going to see how everything's progressing. I think today maybe we're going to do kind of outgrow my little compost garbage can thingy there. I think I'm going to make a little bigger compost pile. All right, let's go check out. Let's check out how the romaine is doing. This was one of our experiments. Did the first third. Actually, I'm going to sort out the weeds from the actual romaine. But you know what? Let's start doing the second half of that. Let me just put this down. Alright, there's our seeds. Seeds out again. And by the way, every gardener always has a hard time labeling their plants or identifying their plants. So I came up with this kind of pretty neat idea here. This is just aluminum frame to make screening. Replace a couple of screens on the screen door. We had some of this left over. It's perfect. It's aluminum. It won't rust. Write on a magic marker. Unlike before, I was using wooden sticks, but they just seem to deteriorate. You can't see the name after a couple of weeks on a good rain. So this might work out pretty good. Alright, so we're going to do just like we did last time. Just spread some out. This is not a big a deal. Alright, there you are. Cover with a little dirt. And that's it. I know it's not the season to really plant this, but it looks like it's coming up nice. I think we're going to have a good harvest. We'll keep you updated on it. Got my dirt over here. Just cover it lightly. Alright. That's it. No big deal. Alright. Also had the first guava this morning. Actually fell down. It was a big, huge one. I was supposed to pick it yesterday. I should have picked it yesterday. Hit the floor. Smashed open. When I went to go look at it, the bugs already got to it. But this particular guava here is the pink guava. It's very, very fragrant. It's got a bunch of them on there. I think I counted, last count was 12. You can see that something is eating the leaves here. Again, I don't use any kind of insecticides, herbicides, anything like that. I do have some DE powder, diatomaceous earth, which is made out of like this one cell, something that grows in a lake, like amoeba, something like that. It's a one cell crustacean. Supposedly it's been around for millions of years. It's actually food safe. You can actually eat it, and it's supposed to be the crystal, when they grind it up, it becomes very sharp. It's like microscopically sharp for like soft-bellied insects, things that do all the chewing and stuff. Caterpillars, when they eat it, it kind of tears them up, kills them, all naturally. You know, it's organic. You can actually, some people even take it as a vitamin, as a supplement. It's supposed to do good things for your hair, your skin, digestion. The only thing is when you put it on, it's like a white fine powder. I got this little machine over here. I've tried it once before. It's kind of a duster. You fill it up. Fill this thing up. Oh, I left some in there. It's not supposed to get wet. Fill it up, and then you crank the handle. It comes out the other end as fine dust. So you can get underneath the leaves. On the underside is where the bugs usually are. The only thing is when it gets wet, it's done for. You know, so your first good rain, you have to reapply. I did it a couple times. I'm not sure of the effectiveness of it. I wasn't impressed, but I'll probably give it another shot since something's obviously eating this guava up. But if you see, it's kind of hard to spot them. There's one down there in the bottom. So you see this one there? We got a bunch more of this. There's clusters of them up here. There's a cluster of 3 right there in the middle. There's another 3 of 4 over here. I believe this branch has a couple as well. 2, 3. Normally it's like 3 or 4 always in a row. I'm going to start cutting this thing back, I think, because it's getting a little unruly. It's starting to take over. Back on the back side, on the bottom there's a couple more. This one here, we did eat one last year. It gave us the first one of this tree's life. It was very tasty. Okay. See, the grapes over here have started to They're a purplish color. These do have seeds in them, though they're very sweet. I'm going to see when I get a bunch of these. I'm going to make some. I'm probably going to juice them because I don't particularly like the seeds, but they'll make a good juice, I'm sure. And over here, our acerola tree, Barbados cherry, is starting to bloom. It's got a lot of them on it. A lot of them are falling. I haven't had the time to come out here, but this is an excellent fruit for juicing. It's got a tart taste. There's a lot of green ones in there. It's just starting to flower. Very good, super high in vitamin C. I highly recommend this one. If people want to get healthy, this is the good stuff, and I like it. A lot of people put sugar in it. I don't. I like the way it tastes naturally. Let's see, the other one. This is our cream guava. This one, I haven't seen. I had a couple of fruits last year on it. Here's one right here, just starting to grow. I gotta see. I think I need to get some more wood chips. I need to compost more. I don't like to use the chemical fertilizers. You know, the NPK, the nitrogen, the phosphorus, potassium. Even though these things are starting to bloom now, they do need the phosphorus. They do need potassium. I don't want to use the chemical one. That's what I'm saying. I'd like to get some. Maybe I'm going to buy some compost because my compost pile is taking longer than I anticipated. So we're going to try it out and see if we can go ahead and get some more wood chips, see if I can find them free. If not, I'm going to have to break down and buy them. Now, mulberry's just starting to bloom again too. This is an ever-bearing mulberry, so it's just starting to give fruits again. When they're this color, they're nice and sweet. This is too small to eat yet, but they're just starting. This thing is loaded. If you saw my other clip, my other video where I showed you when we first started putting down the mulch and actually planting of the trees, you have noticed that there is a clip in there and it shows this thing just like thousands and thousands of on them. I just want to show you guys the other fruits that are on the dragon fruit. I picked this morning. I didn't wait for my camera person, but I should have. There's another one growing here. And there's another one on the opposite end over there. And these two, so that'll be 3 on this so far. This thing likes to grow. It's probably going to outgrow this. It started off with this little trellis, as you saw in the other video if you watched it. And I ended up building this heavy-duty one here. But I think I'm going to expand it out that way over the mound so we can travel more. You know, in Mexico, there's a lot of these dragon fruit plants, and they like to just climb. They'll go right up, butt them up against the tree, and they'll climb all the way up, and they'll just fruit. Most of the time it's hard to get over there, so the birds are the lucky ones in that case. Looking up my neighbor's tree up there, I see a bird's nest. Let's see if you can see it all the way up there. See the bird's nest up there? In the beginning, when we first started planting the garden, I had, one of those fake owls out, try to deter the birds. I put some used DVDs hanging from the trees because the lights, when it reflects and the wind blowing on it, it kind of confuses the birds. The whole concept behind that was I didn't want them starting to pick on my immature trees that weren't big enough. But now the birds are our friends. They come and eat the bed bugs, stuff like that. So I don't put out the owl anymore. We don't use the reflectives anymore because we actually want birds. I put a bird bath in here. We want to attract the birds in here. All right, I think now we're just going to go ahead and start building our new compost pile. I just stopped at Home Depot. I asked the cashier if I can have a couple of the ones that were in the back by the garbage can. And she said go ahead and take them. So I got 3 of them. And I'm thinking of doing just replacing this little area over here that I really don't garden in. It's kind of like my junk pile area. I'm going to put 2 sides and 1 back, stand them up straight, and then I'm going to fill them up with our compost. I got a lot of green compost because we do have a lot of like vegetable peels, coffee grinds, stuff like that. My problem is I need some more brown. They say it's certain ratios. Everybody has their own ratios. I just think it should be half and half. I like to alternate, layer them. What I did is bought a bag of peat moss. I'm going to substitute that for my browns, because I don't have enough dead leaves and stuff like that. I mean, I always chop down these things and I let them just chop and drop on the floor because they're good for the plants. But I really do need to get my compost going here. Also, remember our loofahs here, look at the size of that one. There's another one here. Another one here, and I just noticed another one on the backside, another long one on the backside there. See if you can see it. See, they start, almost look like zucchinis, like a big cucumber. Right now they're still firm to the touch. You'll notice they'll start to. Don't worry, it's just a bee cam person. It's not going to hurt you. You don't mess with them, they don't mess with you. As soon as it starts to dry out, I'll show you in another video how we're going to do that. Peel it back. It's pretty cool, actually. The loofahs are great. You can use them for washing your veggies, you know, cleaning your carrots and potatoes, stuff like that. My wife actually uses them when she goes in the shower. Right? Go to Bed Bath & Beyond or whatever, you pay like $6 for one of these things. Alright, let's get to it. That's the basic structure, no big deal. 3 walls. The whole idea now is to start laying this bigger area over here. I know it's not too even, but it doesn't matter. It's just a compost pile. I think there's been at least 5 of these things in here. Plus I'll be able to move it better. I really didn't wanted to do like a no-work compost pile. But I think, I was just thinking, I have a lot of like shredded paper. And I think I'm going to use that as my browns as well. You know, because you have to basically put the nitrogen and the carbon in ratios. So since we have a lot of nitrogen and I don't have enough carbon, I was thinking about using the shredded paper app. I always have shredded paper in there. So I'm going to go ahead and start dumping this out, and then from now on I'll start layering my food scraps, vegetable peels, coffee grinds, all that stuff in here. I'm going to make a trip to my local Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, see if they can give me their used coffee grinds. That's always great for compost. And like I said, I want to use totally organic, so I need compost on my trees, especially now they're starting to flower. The fruits need it. They need the energy. So that's what we're going to do. Actually, the compost looks pretty rich. I was worried that without turning it over, that it would turn anaerobic, you know, meaning not aerobic without oxygen, and it would start smelling, especially with the amount of kitchen scraps we got in there. And I don't want it to be smelling. I don't want to upset my neighbors. I don't want to smell that stuff. But this can did a pretty good job. Actually, to recycle it, I'm going to use it for the peat moss that I'm going to use for layering for my brown part of the equation. But if you look, this was on the bottom. This is 40 days, 50 days maybe. You see a lot of bugs, a lot of worms in there doing their thing. Worms eat it, turn into worm castings, which is basically worm poop, which is like the best composting material. But it looks pretty good for a short amount of time. Especially I had it closed most of the time. I opened it up when it rained just to get a little water in there. But it seems to be breaking down pretty well. I didn't have much brown, so I put some pine bark nuggets that I had that I used in front. They're kind of acidic. Didn't really want to put it in here. I didn't have anything else. They're kind of big. You can see them, big and bulky. They'll break down over time. I don't think the acid is going to be a problem. If it is, I'll use this more for like my blueberries, and other items that like acidic soil. All right, so this is going to be our new compost pile. I think I'm going to invest in a pitchfork to turn it over once in a while. But I think that's going to work out pretty good. Alright, the last step is to just go get my peat moss, put it in this barrel here. I'll keep it close by, so every morning when I come dump out our scraps, I'll take a shovel of peat moss, cover it up. I think I'll go get my shredded paper as well, put it in there. Alright, now just put the peat moss in here. This will be our new container for peat moss. It has a cover, so I don't want it getting too wet. This stuff basically branches and stuff. It comes from Canada. Trees up there that they've broken down. It's very compressed, it's very dry. When I do my seeding, I use the peat moss pellets, which is this stuff right here. A lot of people use coconut. I like the peat moss. Breaks down easy, holds the water. It's a good dirt to use for starting plants, and I hope it's going to work out as the brown component in my grain and brown compost pile. All right, you can see how fine the stuff is. Once you wet it though, this thing will probably give you 3 times its weight, at least. I'm just going to pour this stuff in there. I threw my back out a couple days ago. I don't want to try lifting it the way it is right now. Let's see if we get that in there. There's no other way to speed this up because it makes a mess. There's our peat moss in here. You see it's all mostly already ground down, so this is going to break down pretty quick. You know, it was my whole reasoning behind this. I was thinking about what I could use. I think between the paper, which the worms like, you know, almost like a bedding, and between this, which is basically broken down already, the vegetable peels won't take long at all. And I'll speed up my compost pile because we're in summer and I really need to get some compost in here. And me being cheap, this is what I want to do. I don't want to buy it. I'd rather have homemade, organic. Alright, I got a little bit more over there. I'm just going to pop in here. I have stuff that I've had for a while that I use for potting outside. This feels pretty waterlogged. We did have a few days where it's raining like crazy. And you can see the growth on everything has exploded. I mean, it's good. It's basically take the good with the bad. I think the plants that are here already, that are, you know, already mature, they enjoy it, they appreciate it. But the other plants that I had started, like the cashews that we started, it feels very waterlogged. I thought by now we'd see something coming up, but still hope for it. But it still is very wet. Like I said, I haven't been out here. The back was killing me for a few days. I didn't really take care of the garden. I would have moved them in with all the rain, but let's see what happens. Like I said, it's a learning experience for me as well. But I'm very happy. Everything in the food forest seems to be enjoying itself. I think my soil is very microbe rich. It's full of the right bugs and bacteria, the right fungus. Everything's growing good. So this was my potting mix, so it has a little bit of the perlite in it as well, a little vermiculite. This is going to be fine. All right, cool beans. All right, guys. So there you go. It's another episode of our compost experiment. I'll keep you informed how it goes. And as always, will it be fresh, homegrown, organic? Or will it be GMO, insecticide, suicide? Again, hit the like button, 2 thumbs up. See you next time.